Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm going to give you the latest that we have on Hurricane Ida out there. I'm meteorologist Jamie Martin. We've been watching this all day. In fact, we've been watching it the last couple of days and just watching it going exactly where, unfortunately, we thought it might go, and that's over towards Louisiana. And it's exactly what's going on right now as we continue our way into the evening hours. And, of course, a lot of folks are getting done with their plans and things like that over towards Louisiana and really all across the nation here. And basically, as you do that, hopefully you have all of your plans ready. That's for sure. If you know anybody that lives over there and they are going to be staying, they're not evacuating, just check in on them and make sure everything is okay with them. Make sure they're ready because they're going to have a lot of problems out there. That is for sure when it comes to Louisiana and that entire area. Let's go ahead and take a look right now. I want to show you the app going on right now. Again, extremely busy, that's for sure. Even up in the northern plains states, we've been dealing with some strong to severe thunderstorms across that area during the daytime hours today. So there's been a lot of activity going on, that's for sure, and even over towards the Great Lakes. But let's concentrate on what's going on right now with Ida. Again, a very strong hurricane already. It's Category 2 still, not quite up to a Category 3 or 4 yet, but it is anticipated to do that as we work our way towards the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning as it goes across the warmest part of these warm water eddies that we have here in the Gulf of Mexico. So again, we're still waiting on this. And again, what I have here, I have an awful lot, that's for sure, that is lit up right now. And basically, I'm looking at other things besides just the location of Ida. I also have some of those warnings that we have, things like that. I just wanted to show you how busy it is down there along the Gulf Coast. And we're stretching all the way from parts of Florida, the Panhandle, all the way through Mobile, Alabama, back out through Mississippi, all across the sections here of Louisiana. So again, lots of problems out there, that is for sure. Let me give you the very latest on Ida first, and then I'll start taking things gradually off so you can see a little bit better here. Ida right now, again, Category 2 hurricane out there. The winds, the maximum sustained winds, 105 miles per hour. And it's still moving to the northwest at 16 miles per hour. It hasn't really changed yet. So that's one thing we're going to be watching for to see if it does indeed make that switch towards the northwest, and eventually the north, as it makes its way in towards Louisiana here during the day and during the overnight hours into Monday morning. So we're going to have to watch that very carefully. But again, that's what we're looking at right now from Ida. Again, nothing really has changed that much in the last 3-4 hours. But again, things will be changing, as I'm sure, during the overnight hours. Let me go ahead and take some of this activity off right now. Let me go ahead and take off. Let me start you off by taking off the radar because then you can see it a little bit better. Look at the center of circulation here. Very well, unfortunately, defined circular motion here. As you can see, the eye of the actual hurricane. It's going to be really getting tighter also as we work our way through the daytime hours tomorrow as it gets even more powerful. And again, it's expected to move its way over here through parts of Louisiana, very, very close to New Orleans, unfortunately, just in time, unfortunately, for that 16-year anniversary, if you want to call it for that anniversary. And that's 16 years ago that we had to deal with Katrina moving its way through the almost exact same location, unfortunately. So lots of problems out there. I'm going to take a little bit more off there because I want to be able to show you off a little bit more here. Let me show you what we have, what we're talking about in terms of warnings and things like that. Right now, this entire area right here has got numerous things going on here. In fact, we have storm surge warnings. We have storm surge warnings in 2 different locations there. Hurricane warnings also in effect. And again, let me again take you to just one of the hurricane warning effects. Again, this is a big chunk here of parts of Louisiana. So again, big problems there, and we're going to continue to see problems. Not only are we talking about the wind from this, which will eventually be coming in possibly 120, 130 mile per hour winds, what we're also going to be dealing with is a tremendous amount of rain, over 20 inches of rain possible in some locations. So that's going to be a huge problem. Let's show you a little bit more here, a little bit wider look here. I'm going to show you what's going on with WSI. I do want to show you what's going on here. What we're talking about here, again, is a Category 2 hurricane right now, but we are anticipating it to get up to about a Category 4, and that could have winds of about 130 miles per hour. And again, that's going to be tomorrow afternoon at about 1 o'clock. That's Central Time, so 2 o'clock. That's going to be Eastern Time. But again, either way, whichever hour it is, it doesn't matter. We're still going to have to deal with this no matter what time it is, that's for sure, as the system moves its way on. So again, Ida could be looking at a Category 4 as it continues to move its way towards the section there of right around parts of Louisiana. I'll take you in a little bit closer here. And again, that actual center, again, has been switching a little bit during the last 6 hours or so. It has been nudging a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and this is what's going to happen as this storm gets in and gets really close to land, it's going to start to kind of wobble a little bit. They do tend to wobble a bit, especially the powerful ones, as they get a little bit closer. So this is one we have to watch very carefully, because if it does wobble a little bit to the east, that means some of the worst weather, unfortunately, is going to be going right over downtown New Orleans. If it goes a little bit more to the west, it's still going to be really, really bad. Very, very bad around New Orleans anyway. However, could keep some of the strongest winds just a little bit over to the west of there. So again, you just have to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. That is for sure when it comes to this hurricane as it makes its way through. Again, this is during the afternoon. A lot of folks, and we're looking at a lot of people doing the same thing. When is it going to hit? When is it going to hit? When is it going to hit? We don't know for absolute sure. But again, it doesn't really matter exactly when it does make landfall, because this is going to be such a large storm that you're going to feel it definitely way before the center of circulation gets to you. We're talking about during the overnight hours, things are really going to diminish quickly as far as abilities to get out and get things done. And basically the wind's going to pick up very quickly. We're going to start to get those bands. And I tell you what, if you have ever been in a hurricane, you know what it's like. You'll be sitting there, you'll have winds, 25, 30 mile per hour winds here like we've had in Florida before, and a band will come through, and next thing you know, you go from like a 30 mile per hour wind, and yeah, that's a little bit of a breeze out there, and it does feel, you can feel the wind, and all of a sudden it just gets really bad, and it really gets rainy, and boy, it just goes sideways across everything you have in front of you. If you're in your house, you're inside your house looking outside, you can feel it shaking, things like that. That's what happens with these bands. These bands are really brutal, and that's well before the actual center moves on shore. So tomorrow morning, it is going to be a huge mess from parts of Louisiana all the way through the sections there right along the Gulf Coast. So again, we're watching that carefully. Let me get not too far ahead of myself real quick. I do want to show you that we're going to be dealing with Ida as we continue our way through Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday, because what's left of Ida is going to be pulling all this moisture and all this heavy rain with it all the way back through parts of the Tennessee Valley and continuing all the way back into parts of the Ohio Valley as we get in towards Wednesday also. So we are talking about having to deal with this for several days, that is for sure. Now let's talk a little bit more. Again, these are watches, and again, warnings, mainly just all warnings, either tropical storm warnings or hurricane warnings here, stretching all the way from parts just outside of Pensacola. It is right there on the border, right there on the state line between Florida and Alabama. So again, in Mobile Bay, you're going to be dealing with it. And again, all of Mississippi right there. So again, this is where we're dealing with all of these major problems expected. And here's the biggest thing, the storm surge, very dangerous out there. And again, this is going to be one of those things. Again, these are storm surges, and normally you would just have to worry about it if you lived right on, say, the beach. But that's not what's going to happen here, unfortunately, because of the way New Orleans sits. It sits like Pontchartrain. It sits right there. It just basically accumulates. Everything gets pushed in here, and all of that water just keeps rising when that does happen. So that's what happened with Katrina. That's looks like what's going to happen here. We're looking at 7 to 11, maybe 12 foot big surges here around the lake itself. Now up to 10 to 15 foot storm surges here once you get right along the coastal sections here of Louisiana. So again, it's going to be a big problem. That is for absolute sure. And again, that's what we're talking about. These are the storm surges. So we do have those storm surge warnings all across the Gulf Coast in those locations. Again, some of these models here, again, bringing this in right across that section here of Louisiana as we get into the early afternoon to the mid-afternoon. This would be about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So again, that's what the European's saying right now, about 4 o'clock. So again, this would be the center of circulation getting on shore. Again, well before that, they're going to be dealing with horrible conditions. So we're going to be watching it very carefully. But again, doesn't matter what the time is, the whole day is going to be a nasty one, that is for sure. So you've got to stay in and make sure you are staying safe. And again, we're going to be dealing with the storm, as I mentioned, all the way into Monday, Tuesday, and even into Wednesday as it pushes its way off and really produces an awful lot of rain across a big chunk of the southeast, including the Tennessee Valley, even the Ohio Valley. As far as the sea surface temperatures, we have very, very warm out there, water out there. That's why we think it's going to continue to develop here during the overnight hours and into tomorrow before it does make it over towards land. And as it does, look at these water temperatures up to 88, almost 89 degrees, so close to 90 in some spots. And again, you can kind of see where that warm water eddy is. It's just south of that 85 degree, right at near New Orleans itself. So what we're looking at right there is one of those eddies. So basically, that's like 90 degree water right there. there. So unfortunately, that's what it's going to be feeding off of, Ida, as it moves its way closer towards New Orleans and the rest of Louisiana. That's why we're expecting it to continue to develop even worse. Here's a look at some of, unfortunately, those winds. This is tropical storm force winds and eventually hurricane force winds, and that's going to be right there, moving very quickly. This is, again, in the morning, not even the afternoon. We're talking the morning here, across a big chunk of the southeastern sections there of Louisiana. That includes over towards New Orleans here. So the winds are really going to pick up very quickly, and they are going to be sitting on these areas throughout the rest of the day, into the overnight hours, into our Monday. So again, it's going to be a huge problem. Lots of damage will be possible from these storms as we continue to watch them very carefully. So again, big problems can be expected as the storm moves its way across this general area. As far as the rain, again, we are talking about 5 to 7 inches of rain over a couple of days here through parts of Mississippi, Alabama, back up towards Tennessee, maybe even the extreme southeastern edge there of Arkansas. Again, that's conservative. 5 to 7 inches of rain. That's conservative. It's probably going to be a little bit more than that. Now, look what happens once you're talking about what's going on right there near the edge of the Gulf here along parts of Louisiana. And look at that, up to 20 inches, if not even a little bit more than 20 inches of rain. 20 inches. That's going to cause huge problems out there. So you've got the damaging winds and you've got the flooding rains. It's going to be a huge problem out there. Again, this is one of the biggest problems. We talk about storm surges and how dangerous those are for folks because it's just so dangerous to be anywhere near the coast when that goes through. Even if you're not near the coast and you're inland, the problem is a lot of folks, unfortunately, they are killed because of all of the flooding, the freshwater flooding. So again, you've got to be extremely careful. You don't drive over it. You don't wade into it. You don't explore it. Don't go into flooded areas. It is not safe. You don't even know what's in that flooding, the flooded area anyway, because there's stuff in there you don't even want to be near. So do not go anywhere near the flooded areas. Wait till things recede, and you are given the clear by officials. They're out there to help keep you safe. And again, right now is about the last second you can get things done because, again, once the winds really start to pick up, even the officials, even the police officers, everybody else that's out there to keep you safe, they can't be out there. So you have to make sure you are getting yourself ready because they are going to be shutting everything down, including the emergency officials, as the system continues, especially by tomorrow morning. So again, huge storm, that is for sure. I do want to say one thing out there just before we look for some questions here. And basically that is, yes, we do have yet again another system out there. This is our latest tropical depression. The good news is well off in the Atlantic and is expected to continue moving towards the north. So it doesn't look like it's going to be much of a problem for us, but it could become our next named system here as we get into the overnight hours and into our Sunday. But you know what? Right now, nobody, and it's not that you shouldn't care, but there's something way more important than that, and that is what's going on with Ida as it continues moving on to the coastal sections here of Louisiana as we continue our way through the rest of that period. You know, we do have one shot. I want to show you what's been going on. It's been really not that bad of a day. In fact, here's a look at one of our STEM folks, and they were able to get us a really great view here. And this is a little time lapse here and what it looks like right now. And as you can see, it really looks fairly quiet. And this is Baton Rouge right now. And as you can see, not showing too many problems right now. So hopefully every single person that's out there, hopefully they are getting ready, because even in Baton Rouge, again, you're going to be dealing with a really, really bad situation here as we continue our way through the daytime hours tomorrow. So you may not have to be dealing with the lake right up against the entire city like they do down in New Orleans. However, you're still going to be dealing with tremendous amounts of rain, damaging winds. You're going to lose power. You're going to have a lot of problems out there cleaning up. You got to be very you can be a little more comfortable and have things like, say, fresh food that doesn't spoil with the power out. Just do not have it inside your house. Don't have it in your garage. Even with the garage door open, don't think that's going to keep it safe. No, don't have it anywhere near where it can get inside your house. So make sure you do not have a generator anywhere close to getting in your house with the carbon monoxide. So again, very, very extremely dangerous situation. So again, you know, a lot of folks, we answered a lot of questions earlier today. think I actually went on for about 40 minutes. So, that's one of the things I'm a little adamant when it comes to things that go on, when it comes to things that happen during hurricanes or really any bad storm. I like to keep people informed and give them information. So I love to give people information, and hopefully we were able to get to most of those questions. But I will check in right now and see how things are looking right now, because a lot of people have been getting ready. A lot of folks have been we've been all over the country as far as where folks have been, Idaho, stuff like that, so I'm very happy that people are interested in what's going on, because it does kind of educate you in terms of severe weather. Even if you're, say, in Idaho, obviously you're never going to get a hurricane, but you are going to get winter storms. You're going to get storms in general. And so it's good that you actually learn more about precautions that you can take and that you should do when it comes to things like flooding, stuff like that. It all kind of comes back together. So no matter where you are, it doesn't matter if you're in LA and everybody goes, oh, I'm in Los Angeles. We have wonderful weather all the time. We never have bad weather. Not the case. Of course you have bad weather sometimes. Everybody, no matter where you live across the entire world, eventually you're going to get some bad weather, and that's for sure. And you want to be as safe as you possibly can. That is for sure. Let me see now. It's possible Ida will turn to the east. Okay, that's a very good question. Thanks for that. Let me see here. They're asking whether or not, is there a chance for it could turn a little bit more to the east? Yes, it definitely could. It could go east or west, depending on what does happen especially overnight tonight and into tomorrow. It doesn't look like there's going to be much of a change. We're not seeing anything out there that would really make this turn more of an odd, twist over to the left or to the right. So yes, it could. But I think if it's going to do that, if it's going to move a little more to the east, it might scoot a little bit more by maybe 100 miles, maybe 150 miles as far as the landfall goes. So that unfortunately could put it a little bit closer to downtown New Orleans. But as I mentioned, even with New Orleans downtown, even if it were to the actual eye were to go just smack dab the middle of it, it's already going to be causing problems anyway. So you have to be ready, whether it's going straight over it or whether it's going to be just over to the west of New Orleans. New Orleans is going to get hit very, very hard. It's going to be really devastating, especially in some locations where they're going to have problems out there. And we hope that the levees that did get fixed and redone, really hope that they are able to hold up, because without that, we're going to end up with huge problems once again with massive flooding and some fatalities there. So hopefully, if anything, we hope that because of what happened with Katrina, hopefully we were able to reinforce things, change the way things were set up. And it had been so long, everything had been put together so many decades before, never having had to deal with a storm like Katrina. So now, hopefully, at least we can keep people a little bit more safe out there, because we can't make it stop. I have no control. Nobody has any control of where the storm's going to go. It just matters what we do as that storm gets closer, that's for sure. So again, it's one of those things where a lot of folks are wondering exactly what's going to happen. And a lot of folks have been asking about what's it going to be like up in a little bit to the north. A lot of people in Alabama, and we've even had some people in Mississippi asking what they're expecting. Again, about 5 to 7 inches of rain over about a day and a half time period as the system Ida moves its way through. So again, easily going to see over 5, 6, 7, maybe even more inches of rain. So you have to be prepared for that. That's going to cause huge problems out there also. So be aware that those problems are going to be with us as we continue our way through really that big time also. So again, we're looking at some big problems out there in many locations. That was Damien, by the way. Fantastic worker. Chris is back there also doing a great job keeping everything in. So hopefully I am still good to go. Yep, it looks like it is. I'm just making sure that, that's one of the best things when you have a great team. Things are done, when I'm in the middle of talking to you and talking about a certain aspect of what's going on, they are doing a million other things at the exact same time. So I'm just going to take another quick peek here and see what's going on, because I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything that may be going on. So I'm turning the hurricane back on and just making sure we haven't seen any new updates here that has come on. Nope, still looking at the same one, Category 2, 105. Okay. This is one of the things that even as a meteorologist, again, things come in at the second. Like you'll have, the aircraft, the hurricane aircraft will be out there, and they will update things on you while you're in the middle. All of a sudden, you'll be sitting there. All of a sudden, that number will change, and you'll be like, "Did did it just change? And you'll be like, yes, it did just change. So again, this is one of those things. Doing weather is a fantastic, fun thing. If you love weather, this is a great job. That is for sure. However, things can change on you on a dime, so you do have to be careful of that. So far, nothing has changed yet. But again, we're expecting coming up just before 11 o'clock, another update. Could be looking at a bit of a bump in the power as far as the strength of Ida is concerned. And we could be looking at possibility of maybe of even bumping up, depending on the actual amount of wind speed that we have. Could see some of those warnings being fine-tuned as far as how much of a surge we're going to see in some locations. We already talking about 10 to 15 foot surge areas in the southern part there of Louisiana. So already seeing that. Could it bump it up a little bit more? You never know. That's the thing. It could always change. And right now, again, it's right now we're running at 9:39. And again, a lot of folks are done for the day. A lot of folks are just beginning to get ready for bed. Get some sleep now, because you're not going to be getting good sleep tomorrow. That is for sure. If you're anywhere near Louisiana, that's for sure. Or anywhere that path is going to take it after that. So make sure you have yourself and have everything ready. So get some sleep while you can, and be prepared and have everything ready, especially tomorrow morning, because you're not going to have much of a chance after that. So again, this is one of those things where, not much happening right now. You got to admit it. It's still off in the Gulf of Mexico. It's not very close to us right now. So again, it's not causing a huge amount of problems. It's still producing some showers, though, in some locations already. You're already seeing some showers out there. Not getting the tremendously strong bands yet of the actual storm with Ida. Not at least sit on shore yet. However, already beginning to pick up some of those winds and some of those things. So again, things will be going a little downhill, should I say, as we continue our way through the overnight hour. So again, I'm going to be back. We're going to be doing an update after the 11 o'clock numbers come in. During the overnight hours, we're going to keep an eye on it. But again, by tomorrow morning, we're going to be right back into this again. A lot of folks are going to be getting up 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. We will be here. I will be here. We're going to have a couple of folks out there. In fact, Matt is going to be here. He's going to be joining us from up in D.C. to talk a little bit more about what we can expect, what's happening with the Gulf. Why is the Gulf of Mexico so crazy this year? He's a great scientist, and we're going to be talking with him coming up in the morning a little bit more about what's going on. Aaron is out there. Again, Aaron flew in today. I've already seen some of the video he's already sent back. It's kind of eerie, the amount of people that have already evacuated and the people that are still trying to evacuate and get out of there. There's a lot of video that's going to be shown tomorrow. We'll be able to show people more about it. So we'll hopefully be able to alert you about some of the things that maybe you have questions about. We're going to be very busy, and we're going to keep you updated throughout the day. That's for sure. Lots of things will be going on. And again, during the overnight hours, we'll keep you updated on what we can also. That is for sure. But be prepared for a very busy Sunday, and I will see you back here then.